What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday night again, and it is time for Squadron Live. I appreciate you all being here, and yeah, I'm here. As you can see, I am not in my arcade, and that is because I am no longer in LJ. I have officially moved my family and myself to Ringgold, which, for those of you who are not in Georgia or Tennessee, Ringgold is basically Chattanooga, Tennessee. Our new warehouse is like a half a mile from the Tennessee line. My house, I'm probably, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles from the line. But technically Ringgold, Georgia, but for, talking about it, we'll just say Chattanooga. But anyway, let me see who's with us tonight. Joseph is here. How are you, buddy? And Henry is with us tonight. Good to see you. And Greg is here. How are you? I guess you were early, but hey, it's time to go now, right? And hello to you, Carlos. And look, oh, that's me. I was in there early with you guys. Michael is here. How are you tonight, buddy? And Danny from Fayetteville. Let's see, you got your destroyers on pre-order with us. That's good. If you didn't notice or didn't see, I sent an email out, or maybe you missed it. Dragon has 3 new destroyers that they've announced. The first round of re-release 350 scale destroyers, they sold out pretty quick. All but one of them. I know the gearing went first. But anyway, they've got a second round of re-releases coming, and 3 destroyers, the same 3 classes, but different kits. So the gearing class is DD-805. They've got another Benson class coming. This is a 1945 version. And then they are reboxing their Livermore, which is DD-429 as well. So another round of destroyers. So if you missed out on the first round and they sold out too quick, no problem. You can get in on this round. And because they're doing this, I can only assume that they're going to go ahead and re-release the rest of those, because back when they originally released these destroyers, they had 2 or 3 in each class. So it'll be very interesting to see those. But go ahead and get your pre-orders in for those, because our order is already placed and they're on the way. So once those are gone, like the first round, they'll be gone. Good to see you tonight, Rex. And Wes is here. Good to see you. And Derek, hey, how are you, buddy? And he says, if you haven't watched the interview with Lucky Luckadoo, make sure to do that. That was a lot of fun, being able to talk to Lucky. His name is John, but he goes by Lucky for very good reason. And listen to that interview that I was able to do with him, and you'll find out why he is very lucky. And Derek talking about his book, awesome book called Damn Lucky. And this came out just a year or 2 ago, I believe. This is the story of Lucky's life in the 100th bomb group. And the cool thing about this is very soon, I don't know, within the next, month, we'll say, couple weeks, hopefully, we will have these for sale on Squadron.com. So if you don't have Lucky's book yet and you would like it, it is available in a soft cover and a hard cover. The one I have is the hard cover. And both versions, soft and hard, will be available at Squadron.com very soon. So I was very excited to find out that we would be able to get these. They're about, $25 or $30, I think. But I'll have those put up on the website very soon. I'm very excited to have it. Just like I said before, there's not too many of these guys left, and the fact that I was able to talk with Lucky is it's very cool and means a lot to me. And his book, very, very interesting. So hope you'll pick one of those up and read it. And hello to Ed Groom tonight. Ed is the one that got me my copy of Lucky's book. So thank you again for that, Ed. I'll probably thank you 1,000 more times for it, so get ready. Good to see you tonight, though. Tom, good to see you from the villages of the White Sand, as always. Hope you're having a good time down in Florida tonight. Danny, good to see you. And he's asking what part of North Carolina Michael's in. So surely Michael will answer you a little bit further down in this chat. And I say this all the time, but you got to remember that this chat is like it's like a 30, I think, second delay. So sometimes I'll read things, and of course the chat just goes. So sometimes I'm behind. Y'all have already answered each other's questions, and I'm late to the party, but that's all right. David, good to see you tonight. And Mark also coming to us from Florida. Let's see, Michael, getting the groceries. Well, that's something that has to be done, isn't it? And Greg is here tonight with a paint question. Do any of us tonight know of a steel and aluminum paint besides Alclad that does not have metal flake in it? Okay. All right. Everybody go. Let Greg know what you're using for steel and aluminum that does not have flake in it. I'm assuming you say besides Alclad. I use Alclad, which is odd because we don't sell Alclad at Squadron. I'm hoping to fix that soon after we move, and I've got some information on our move. But Alclad's kind of like the best for me. So I'm not sure. Maybe you don't like the fumes or anything from that type of lacquer paint, which if that's the case, then you're going to be looking at an acrylic paint. And I don't think any of the acrylic paints have the metal flakes in them. I could be wrong. I could be using stuff with flakes and not even know that's what's making the metal finish. But I've used a lot of the Vallejo metal colors with some pretty good luck. Acrylic tries in this day and age. Acrylic does a really fantastic job compared to acrylic from years ago, but it's still hard to beat that lacquer metal finish, at least for me. I mean, I've seen some guys do some stuff with some of the Vallejo and the AK Interactive type acrylics that just kind of blow me away. But then again, those are the same guys that do it with a paintbrush, and if I'm not using an airbrush, I can't make anything look halfway good. So, but everybody put in the chat what they use for steel and aluminum and natural metal finishes. And let's just give Greg a good idea of what we use. Give him some options there. Hey, Lentz, good to see you tonight, buddy. And TD is here. Hello to you. And Mike Zbovic down in Atlanta. Good to see you tonight, Mike. We got to catch up sometime soon. Hadn't talked to you in a while. Good to see you, though. And Jason's back with us tonight. Hope your next build is well underway. And Ed talking about the Olympic kit from Hobby Boss. Will it come with masks to paint the Dazzle camo? You know, Ed, that is a very good question. And with a ship like that, you know, in looking at the box art, there's only one way to paint that, at least in my mind, and in most people's mind, I would think. And it would have to come with that, right? But the only problem is Hobby Boss traditionally, I don't think has really included masks with their stuff, and at the price point, I'm not sure. So that's a good question. I need to find out, and I'll try to make a point to find that out very soon and put the info on. The good thing is, though, if it doesn't come with it, you know somebody's going to make one, and if they don't, we will. But we're working really close with a couple of good mask companies like ArtScale, and even though most of the mask companies are traditionally aircraft canopy masks, something like this just screams aftermarket mask, and it's a really good opportunity for these companies to give us something to take our money. But hopefully, Hobby Boss will include that. You know, Hobby Boss comes from the same factory that Trumpeter comes from. And lately, more and more, potentially all of the new ones, but more and more of the aircraft that Trumpeter's been doing lately has been including masks for the canopies. There's been more before the 32 scale Devastator, but that was the first one that I really kind of noticed it because I picked up one of those kits for myself. And as soon as I saw that mask, I'm like, oh, wow. And then I started realizing that trumpeter, this is something that they've started doing more and more. So being that it's the same company, they've got the capabilities of making the masks, maybe it will be included. I mean, it's certainly needed. I mean, that would be very, I'll say difficult, at least for myself, to mask that off by hand. So hopefully they'll give us a mask. I will find out. That is a very good question. And hopefully I can find out soon. David, good to see you tonight. Got some awesome stuff coming to you soon. I see, oh, you got one of the hats. Very good. Well, wear it off and tell everybody they need one too. We got those hats with the camouflage and we've got them in black. And we were making these hats in Ellijay. There was a girl there, or a lady rather, that runs an embroidery shop, just a local shop, and she'd make them for us, a dozen at the time, not anything special, but now that we're moving, we're going to find somewhere else to get those made because I won't be there in Ellijay anymore. And we're looking to, the reason that they cost so much is the hat itself, not the patch, but the hat itself is a pretty expensive hat. This day and age, of course, I mean, hats used to be cheap. Now it's nothing for a hat to be 20, 30, 40 bucks. I take my kids to the WWE wrestling event and hats are like $45. I'm like, good gosh. But anyway, we're going to try to find a hat that's still the trucker style hat with the mesh back because, I don't know, I like that. People seem to like that. But try to find one that's not so expensive. Get somebody to throw our embroidery logo on there and keep offering them because I appreciate the fact that you guys want the hats and wear them at the shows, and it's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Ken, hello, how are you tonight? Yeah, Jason, I remember when you came up to me and told me you lost your hat, and I think I gave you a little discount on it at the show because I felt bad. If I remember correctly, you told me it was on your dash in your truck. You were going down the road and all of a sudden it just right out the window. So, hey, maybe somebody picking up trash off the side of the road got them a nice hat, right? They probably have no idea what this eagle is, but they have them a nice hat. Let's see. Jason managed to get him a P-51 Royal class. Man, those went so fast. It was kind of cool to me seeing how fast they left our shelves. The only bad part about that was that I wasn't able to offer it to you and several others. That's one of my number one emails right now is, hey, are you going to get any more of these in stock? And unfortunately, the answer is no. Edward does these very limited edition Royal class kits. And to my knowledge, they've never gone back and redone one. And the few times they've redone, I'm not saying that they've never done we'll say a P-51 or one of their Spitfires or whatever it is. They might do another one, but it's going to be a different version, different decals, different variant. So you got to jump on this stuff when you can, which if you haven't jumped on the B-17 that they are doing, make sure to get those. They are definitely going to be gone by the time they get here. We have had to up our order a few times, and the upping of the orders is over. They're pretty much out. They have ordered the plastic from HK models, and that's it. HK did a production run for them, however many they made, and once they're spoken for, they're gone. Edward prints their own boxes, they print their own decals. They produced their sprue, the extra nose sprue that they're including in the kit. So they kind of control that. But once they get the shipment of the HK sprues, that's it. That's all there is. So make sure to jump in there before those are gone. It's going to be a really cool kit. And one of the biggest questions that I've been asked about that B-17 kit lately is, if you've been following Edward on their Facebook page, they have the kit comes with 7 decals, but the limited edition version of the kit includes 4 additional decals. The kits that we are offering, that we are buying from them, that we are selling to you and offering in our pre-order, they are the limited edition version. So they do include the additional 4 decals. That's been a really big question that customers have been emailing me about. So if you have pre-ordered the Bloody 100th B-17 kit from us, it does, and it will include the 4 additional decals from Edward. So just make sure you know that. And at that $155.99, if you're in the States, free shipping. Can't beat that, right? All right. Who else we got in here? Barry's here with us tonight. And David, good to see you. And 411 Maintainer coming from Canada. Good to see you tonight, buddy. And Tim is in here this evening. Good to see you. And Ted's Scale Modeling is with us tonight. Let's see, David, what you got? Great hats. Okay. George Barris, Raiders coach. Okay. Well, that's cool. And Tom just got his latest order from us. Tell everyone I said hello. Well, sometimes our warehouse guys and gals tune in and check out what's going on Wednesday nights, so I'll tell them for you. Thank you, warehouse guys and gals, for getting everybody's orders out. We would not be where we are without all of our help, for sure. Jason, going to be down this way. Yeah, that Kennesaw Hobby Town, it's a pretty awesome store. They've got, so I have to assume that all of us watching this show tonight and hanging out and chatting, I got to assume that we all know what Hobbytown USA is. But just in case anybody doesn't know what Hobbytown USA is, that is a chain hobby store. There's, I don't know how many of them are left, but it's just a general hobby store. Most of them are, you'll see a lot of remote control items, model railroad items. Most of them, or many of them, or several of them, have a rather small, plastic model kit section, but they all do have plastic models. Most of the time, the Gundam stuff is at least half of their plastic model sections, which that's cool. And then depending on where you are, which Hobbytown you go to, some areas have a bigger, they might have a bigger train section, or they might have a bigger remote control section. Some of them have a bigger model kit section. They are all franchise. So the particular type of products that are offered at each Hobbytown is kind of different based on what the owner or whoever's stocking the shelves, what they're into. So you might go in one Hobbytown and it's nothing but remote control cars, which is kind of common. But then you might go in some and they've got a pretty large selection of model kits. That's probably because the owner or the guy in charge of stocking the shelves is a modeler himself. Well, the one in Kennesaw, Georgia, if I understand correctly, is the Hobbytown USA. It's their flagship store. It is massive. It used to, before it was Hobbytown, it was a movie theater. I'm just going to throw a number out there. I think they had like 19 movie screens. I don't know. They had a lot of screens. Well, when Hobbytown got it, they removed all the walls. So, instead of movie screen A, B, C, D, whatever, they removed it. So it's one big, gigantic room now. It's actually like, I don't know, maybe it was 8 screens. 19 sounds way too many. Whatever it was a lot of screens. And they have one gigantic room now, and then on the sides they have two separate rooms on the sides. One of those rooms is nothing but remote control. I assume it's still that way. I haven't been there in a few months. And then the other room is their games, Magic the Gathering, whatever the current games are that are being played. But their big room, it's huge. They have you just got to go. If you ever make your way down to Georgia, there's two places you've got to come see. The first and most important is Squadron, which will very soon be located in Ringgold, Georgia. And about 2 hours south of Ringgold, Georgia, in Kennesaw, you've got to go see Hobbytown USA, because it's Hobbytown's largest store that they have. And there's just so much stuff. And they do have a pretty big model kit section. Actually, I know the guy that runs the model kit section. He's a modeler. He's a great guy. And they do a pretty good job of keeping their model kits stocked, their paints. They got a ton of paints. But then outside of that, it's just really cool to see all the other stuff they have. They've got things that like dollhouse stuff and kites and the little wooden trains that the kids play with. My kids love going to that store. We hadn't been in a while, but there's so much stuff there. It's kind of ridiculous. So if you ever get down to North Georgia, come see us and then go see Hobbytown USA. Two of the best hobby shops for model kits that you'll ever see. I can almost guarantee you that. So anyway, it's really neat. It's kind of cool. Let's see. Good to see you tonight, Lady Neville. And Kenny is here. And Tim. Question on the dragon kits from Michael. Are the instructions better than the earlier kits? Unfortunately, I'm pretty dang sure that all of these dragon re-releases are straight up re-releases. There are a few cases in their 35th scale armor where they are including some 3D printed parts that replace earlier plastic parts. But as far as the instructions go, from what I've seen, they're pretty much the same. Now, obviously, I have not built each and every single dragon kit, so I don't know. I mean, some of them instructions, they might have changed, but overall, it's pretty much just straight up re-releases as far as I know. Let's see. Ed, good to see you tonight from Des Moines. Hey, Mike, is there a topic for tonight? Unfortunately, I don't really have a topic for tonight. So I do apologize about that. If anybody's got a good idea of something we can talk about, we can look at that. But it's mostly just hanging out tonight. All right. Well, and I say that, and the very next comment was let's go back to this metal color. So it looks like I'm finally getting down to the chats where y'all are answering that question. So Ted uses the Gunzy Super Metallic 2 for his metal finishes. Michael is in on the Vallejo stuff, which that's cool. The AK Interactive metals. So the Vallejo stuff and the AK Interactive metals, that's stuff that I have used, and it works really good. Now, AK Interactive has, what is it called? Extreme, the letter X, and then TREME, Extreme Metal series. And from what I've used it, I've got some. It works really, really, really similar to the Alclad. I don't know if it's like the exact same type of thing, like a lacquer or what, or how they do it, but it works really good. And I don't think it's their acrylic stuff. I think it's more along the line of the Alclad stuff, but I've tried that and it works really nice. All the Vallejo stuff, like Michael's talking about here, most of that or all of that is acrylic, and it works really good. A lot of times and I am no expert, guys. Don't think that I'm acting like an expert here because I'm not. But for me, a lot of times, anytime I've done the metallic colors, whether it be an aircraft, aluminum aircraft, or I do a lot of figure, like comic book figures. I like that kind of stuff. So I did a Silver Surfer one time, and that's pretty metallic-y. But for me, anytime I'm using these metallic colors, what ends up being more important in my final result is not necessarily the paint that I use, but what has messed me up more often than not was my prep work and getting it smooth, getting all that done, and then doing my base coat. Because especially with Alclad, you can get a totally different finish based on what color base coat you use. Most of the time, if I'm doing like a silver or a chrome, I'm using a black base, like a shiny gloss black base. But I've also used a red base. Like if you're doing gold, a red base or a black base, they both work, and they give you a completely different finish once you put the gold on there. And there's so many different ways to do that. People will give you different ideas for your base coats. But for me, what I do with my primer coat and my base coat makes a humongous difference, more so than what I end up using as my final paint coat. So that's just something else to throw a monkey wrench in there. Let's see. Yeah, skipping down here, Jason says the extreme metal paint or enamel. Okay, that makes sense. So they're not acrylic, but they're not lacquer. So the Alclad stuff is lacquer, and the AK stuff is enamel. That's interesting. And Matt says he uses the Ammo Atom paints. I have never used any ammo paint, so that's cool to know that those work too. Let's see, jump back up here. And Ed uses the Model Master Chrome Silver. The Model Master, they had a lot of good paints, but most of that stuff, if not all of that stuff, is just gone and you can't find it anymore. So hopefully you guys got a lot of that in your stash. Kenny Wade, he says he's got a lot in his stash, so that's good. All that old Model Master stuff, man, I think it's going to last forever. It'll probably outlast all of us. So hopefully you got a good stash of that stuff. I wish they'd bring that stuff back out. Greg, not that, Brandon. It's the price. Got to save up, and all the acrylics I have tried had flake in it. I will check out into these types. Okay. Now, talking about flakes, it does not give a good finish. And as much as I really love Tamiya paint, like if there's a color that Tamiya has, I'm probably using Tamiya. Flat black is my favorite, and I'm going to guess it's probably a lot of y'all's favorites. That flat black Tamiya does is just awesome. But the silver and the chrome that Tamiya has, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. That it's got a lot, and maybe this is what you're talking about, maybe not. But the flakes in the silver that Tamiya has, it just doesn't come out smooth, which is pretty interesting to me because even though that's an acrylic, it's a acrylic lacquer, which still doesn't compute in my mind. But you would think that they'd be able to get that a little bit smoother, but I don't know. All right, jumping around on topics a little bit here. Jason says, got your P400 going. Which kit is that? Yeah, this new keyboard I got over here is loud. Is that the okay, you answered the question right below. 48 scale. Gotcha. Howdy to you too, Mark. Randy, good to see you. Better late than never. Troy from Signal Mountain. That is right up the road from where I'm at now, buddy. And that's actually going back to what we were talking about earlier. That's where Lucky is from. He was born on Signal Mountain 102 years ago, and he's still alive talking about it. So that's awesome. Is there a site where you can make an appearance at the new location? Not yet, but very soon. And in just a moment, I will give you an update on our move so you can all know about that. Scott looks like he remembers the Kennesaw movie theater. Oh, I see what you're saying. You understand why they have a dual doorway entrance now. Yep. Yeah, now that you know that it was a movie theater, next time you walk in there, you can say, that makes a lot more sense now. Let's see. Mark had a hobby town up where he was. $54 35th scale Morser Carl. Very cool. It's always cool to be able to go into a local hobby shop, that's for sure. Tom, updates on the B-24 kit from Airfix. They are on their way. They have finally left India. But I don't know exactly when they're going to be here. And when I say they, I mean Airfix America or Airfix USA, whatever they are, that imports those kits. They were trying to get them in time for us to have them at Nationals, but I just have this feeling that's not going to happen. So we're looking at probably the end of July or beginning of August, somewhere in that ballpark. But they are on the way. Let's see. Scott stumbled across a Gundam store while you're passing through Cumming last weekend. Well, you just never know what you're going to find out there. I've seen some Gundam stores in in the malls. I don't go to malls very often, but we went to a mall I forget where we were. We were out of town somewhere and we needed to get something. So we stopped at this mall and we go in there and it was just a Gundam store. That's all they sold was Gundam model kits in a mall. It's the craziest thing, but it was cool. I forget where that was. I'm going to have to figure where out that was. Let's see. And here's another comment about the Atom paints by Meg. I guess I'm going to have to try those sometime. Lady Neville, finishing up your 200 scale Serenity. You'll have to send me pictures of that. Love to see what that turns out like. I don't know if I've seen many of those built up. It's a nice kit. That trumpeter kit, I assume yours is a trumpeter kit. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Yeah, Rust-Oleum bought testers a few years ago. And shortly after they bought that, they killed off all the Model Master stuff. So it's no fun, but maybe it'll come back one day. We'll see. Jason. All right. See, I did not know this. Going back to that hobby town that was the movie theater, they have a big train display right in the front. So that was the ticket booth, and the checkout line was the snack stand. All right. Cool. And Scott says he's going to ask for popcorn on the next checkout. There you go. All right. And Joseph, let's talk about X Plus for a minute. The Rhedosaurus, the Marilyn Monroe, and the Beta and Blue Velociraptors are all on their way to us, and we should have them the first week of July. So just another few weeks from now, we will have all of that. And then the Dracula and the Vampirilla, their original Vampirilla sculpt, with a different base. It's a base with some bats flying behind her. Those two are coming next, which will probably be here, I'm going to guess, towards the end of August, if I just had to guess. And then Mummy supposedly is right after that. It'll probably be, I don't know, say end of September, somewhere in that ballpark. And Bill, the Very Fire Yamato, same story as the X Plus stuff. That is on its way, and we should have it the first week of July. Fingers crossed. And the cool thing is this, I've been talking about how difficult it is to get things to Ellijay and how I'm excited about moving up to Chattanooga. Well, we're going to put it to the test because this container that's headed this way is the first container coming to our Chattanooga warehouse. So I guess I'll tell you about our update on that. So let me see. I was there earlier. I guess this was yesterday. Let me save this video real quick. So a lot has changed in the last 24 hours on our potential schedule. So let's see. All right. Give me a moment. All right. This was me yesterday. I am standing right in the middle of our one day going to be 20,000 square feet. And that's our loading dock right in the middle of it. And you're probably thinking, wow, I thought you were about to move in like soon. Well, remember last week I talked about we were going to move. It was going to be a lot closer. But then we decided to move across from where we were going to be because the two buildings we were going to get were not level. All right, right here, you're looking at the two buildings that we were going to get. And had we gone with that plan, we would already be there because those buildings are ready to go. The building on the left, if you kind of look, it's, 5 feet or so lower than the right building. The grade is lower. And we just didn't really want to. Oh, and they couldn't put a loading dock between the two. So if you see here where I'm standing, this carve out, this is our loading dock where the trucks, we got enough room for 2 trucks and, whatever. So they couldn't put that between the two buildings. So they stuck the loading dock on the end of the left building there, which that's fine, but there's only enough room for 1 truck over there, and sometimes that's just not good enough. So we opted to come across here and wait a little bit longer. Well, just as of this morning, the far building over there, the landlord called us and said the guy that was going to rent that either backed out or changed his mind or whatever the case may be. He said, so that 10,000 square feet, it's available now as well. So we said we'd take it. So as of 9 o'clock this morning, we have that building ready for us to move into now. Now, we are still going, this building here that's being built, this is still ours. We've already signed a lease on it. That is ours, and that'll be ready as soon as possible. This was yesterday. They were going to be pouring the concrete either today or, sometime this week. They were going to start doing that. So this is still going to be us. And then, I mentioned that we've already got an overflow warehouse over here now. Let's see. If you look, this guy's got warehouses going all the way up. Okay, there you go. That building there that you're looking at, that one of those bays over there is our overflow warehouse. That we've been moving everything to. So when you've heard me talking about, we've been moving trucks and moving things over, we've got one of those units over there slap full of pallets and extra shelves and just all the things that we don't need here that we've been kind of packing up. So we're working on it. But we are, like I said, today, everything really just went into overdrive today because we were kind of thinking that our main building was going to be ready and we were going to move into it right after Nationals. Well, now we get to start moving immediately. So you remember I mentioned a moving sale a few weeks ago? Well, that's going to start pretty much immediately. As soon as I get to the shop tomorrow, I'm going to figure out what we're going to put on sale. If you go to our let me look on the website. I created a section called moving sale. Yep, it's live. So if you go to squadron.com and up at the top where it says all products, let's see, I'm working on one monitor tonight. So let me, where are we at? Okay, this one. All right, go to the website, go to all products, moving sale. I guess there is some stuff. I got the Comric stuff in there already with no pictures. Isn't that lovely? But this moving sale section, this is where I'm going to start sticking things that we would rather not move, whether because we're not going to carry it anymore or whether because we have a couple hundred too many of them that we just simply don't want to move, or whether because we just feel like being nice and giving you guys a good deal. So make sure to keep an eye on that moving sale section starting now, because every day we're going to move more stuff into there, and we're going to do that from now through the end of next week for sure. Let me look at my calendar here. My calendar is not working. Why is it not working? Oh, there it is. Let's see, the moving sale will be all of next week, and then depending on when the landlord will let us take we're going to start paying for this new space July 1st, but there's a chance he might let us, because nobody else is going in there. He feels a little bad that the big building is being delayed a little bit, so we might get to start moving over there earlier. So the moving sale is going to go from now, you saw the Comric kits in there, at least through the 21st, next Friday. And I'm going to add stuff to the sale every day. And it might go through the 28th, just depending on when we can start moving stuff, because we have rented, I guess rented is the right word. We have rented a semi-truck and a driver for the semi-truck who is going to drive between Ellijay and Ringgold as many times as he can each day for as many days as it takes. And then we're going to all guess how many truckloads it was, and somebody's going to win something. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be fun to guess, right? But I don't know if said truck driver is going to start making his rounds on the 24th or on the 1st. But nonetheless, keep an eye on the website, keep an eye on the moving sale section, because there's probably going to be some really good deals in there, because as much as it's going to cost us to move stuff, I would rather spend that same money in the form of a discount and give you guys a really good deal. So I am telling you that now. This is kind of like the pre-sale, if you will, just for my buddies here on Wednesday night, because I appreciate you guys being with me. I will probably send an email out about this. I don't know if I'll do it Friday or if I'll wait till Monday, but you'll have a few days head notice before everybody else gets to see it. So keep an eye on that. And Troy says Chattanooga needs a hobby shop badge. So I'm glad we're coming up there too, buddy. We are going to have to figure out what we're going to do. We're not going to be, and please just know this, I've got a lot of friends up in this area. I didn't realize how many friends that I had in the Chattanooga area until I moved up here and really started getting emails and phone calls from guys saying, man, I'm glad you're up here. So it's kind of cool. But a lot of people have expressed a pretty good excitement about us moving here. But just please know that we're not going to be a 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday hobby shop kind of place. As much as I would love that, that's just not our business model. However, I do really enjoy the
the brick and mortar hobby shop feel. I enjoy doing that. That's why I go to the model shows. If you've seen me at at Nationals or any of the big shows, I bring a heck of a lot of stuff. And my wife says I work like a dog, too much so, and maybe I do. But I enjoy it, and I really like creating that retail atmosphere. So I want to bring that to our warehouse in Chattanooga, but it's only going to be every once in a while. And what we want to do is have an open house, so to speak. I guess that's what we'll call it. I want to do it more than once a year. I know a lot of people, we're Squadron. So you look at us and kind of come up with what we might do, based on what Squadron in Texas did. And what Squadron in Texas did, they had a once a year open house that they had. And we could certainly do that, but I want to have it more often than that. Now, I'd love to have it every month. I don't know if that'll happen, but we want to have it several times a year. But we got to get moved first. Got to get moved, got to get the place set up, make it look cool, make it look like something. Because the first time I have all you guys come, I want it to look nice. I want to be proud of it. And we will. We'll make it cool, and there'll be a heck of a lot of models to look at. So just bear with us while we move, while we get set up. And with any luck, we can have some sort of an open house, hopefully by the end of the year, and give it a trial run and see how that works. Ed says there's a couple of war game stores out where he is. Yeah, you see those pretty often. There's actually there's a I don't know what you'd call it. I guess a game shop in Ellijay, right down the road from us. And they primarily sell like video games and Pokemon cards and Magic cards and all that kind of stuff. But they've got the war game stuff, like the Dungeons and Dragons and the Warhammer, whatever games there are these days. And they've got a whole setup of the Army Painter paints, the Citadel paints, of course, and they've got the Vallejo Express Colors, the new line of miniature paints. So you see a lot of that stuff. It's pretty popular. And I mean, to me, models are models. As long as you're putting them together and painting them, it's a model in my book. So it's cool to see those little shops popping up here and there. David, the Qatari kits. Yeah, we just started carrying Qatari like a week ago. We got our first shipment, which was just their first two kits. But everything that Qatari comes out, and I guess I'm saying that right, Qatari. But everything that they're coming out with in the future, we will be able to get those now and be able to offer them. It's a brand new brand for us, so I'm not 100% sure yet how it works with finding out about the new stuff. But I'm working with the guy and trying to stay in tune with what they've got new. So as I learn their operation a little bit more, I'll try to stay on top of everything they've got coming and get them up for pre-order as quick as we can. Jason, would that container be counted as the truck? So here's the deal. A container is, what are they, 40 feet? Well, semi-truck is a little bit longer than that, so it would be at least 70 or 80% of the semi-truck. Let's see. Scott found some kits at a garage sale. You can find some really good deals on some kits sometimes at the garage sales and the estate sales. So hope you found some cool stuff. And yeah, that's funny you mentioned the drainage on the loading dock. So when we got there and we're looking at it yesterday, that was actually the first question we asked was, hey, what are you going to do about drainage? But they had some pipes they were going to put in. They just had not dug them out yet. So yeah. That's definitely got to be something that gets taken care of. Wes says the winner of the contest gets an unfinished Dora. Well, we could be like did you ever go to the steakhouse that had the 72-ounce steak, and if you ate all of it, you got it for free? We could do a Dora contest. I ship you a Dora. You got to pay for it, but if you get it built in a week, you get your money back. Oh, man. Scott, the scratch and dent at the Amps Atlanta was great. Well, I'm glad you thought it was great, because that's probably what I'm going to do again this year at that show. I really enjoy going to that show, but I don't know, it's a good place to take the scratch and dent stuff. Then I don't have to worry about my inventory levels. I just get to take stuff that's not in the inventory and make you a deal and have a good time. So Tim misses the old Avalon Hill games. Man, when you say the bookshelf games, not sure exactly what you're talking about, but if you're talking about Axis and Allies, man, that was my absolute favorite Avalon Hill game. That's just an awesome game. I remember playing that. I don't know how young I was, but my dad and my uncle, of course, that game came out in 1985. I was born in 1985. My dad and my uncle, his brother, they were playing that game pretty much from when it came out. And I remember as a kid watching them, and I forget how old I was when they finally let me play. But I don't know if I was where it was, but the first time they let me play with them, I got hooked. And it's still my favorite board game to this day. And now Wizards of the Coast, I think, owns they might not even own it now. I don't know who owns it now, but there have been several different versions of that game that have come out over the last 30 whatever years. And yeah, I've got every one of them. It's an awesome game. The only problem with Axis and Allies, if you've ever played it, you know what I mean. If you've not played it, man, a game of Axis and Allies, it'll take hours. Some of the funnest times playing that game, my family, my dad's side of the family, used to go down to Florida the week after Christmas every other couple of years. And we'd spend a week there. Everybody would pitch in and rent a place on the beach. And my dad, myself, my two uncles, we would all play Axis and Allies. Man, we'd set it up the first day we get there, and we'd play an hour or two, and it would stay set up the entire week. We'd play on it a couple of hours every night, and I think sometimes we still wouldn't finish. So it's a really fun game, but it can for real take a long time. And if you have played my favorite version of the game is the I don't know what they call it. They did the Pacific, and then they did the Europe. It's two separate games, and you could hook the maps together and play the entire world. And it's huge. And I've only actually been able to play it a few times, because getting somebody that's willing to spend the amount of time it takes to play that game without getting interrupted is pretty impossible. So Kenny Wade remembers coming to the free time open houses. Well, good. I hope that the new Squadron open houses, we can make them even better than that. Bill, right now, if you've been looking for a Combrig kit, I've got them marked at a really, really good deal. But if you're looking for anything else, you better keep an eye on that sale section. You never know. There's some things that we got a bunch of that I just would rather not move. So Wes has got some of those old games. Yeah, I think my dad's favorite Avalon Hill game was Tactics 2. I think that was Avalon Hill. You don't just sit to play Axis and Allies. That's good. That's good. Take Russia out first. Yeah, it got the original Axis and Allies for us. It got so you could almost guess what we were going to do. So when the newer or the different variant versions started coming out, it put a little twist on the gameplay. It was kind of cool. And Tim, yeah, Fortress America, I've got a copy of that original game too. Very cool stuff. Chris says he likes Midway by Avalon Hill. Man, Avalon Hill just did such good games. They really did. Let's see. Oh, I got to show you all this. So I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but last week I was talking about when I got back from Wonderfest, but all of my stuff was packed up at my new house. And this, by the way, this is my new model room. There's nothing here yet. I guess you can see over here. Where's my finger? There it is. Over here in this corner. Or back there. I'll do it that way. Those boxes, that is my entire collection of Squadron Signal Publications books. And I've got a bookshelf over here that is too junky to show you right now. But this is it. So the plan for this room is this table is going to come this way into the corner. And I've got a model bench set up over here, or being set up over here. So I'm gonna deck the room out. This is going to be the model room. This is going to be where I stream on Wednesday nights from now on. It'll be kind of cool. But so all the stuff that I bought at Wonderfest last week was here in a box, so I couldn't show you anything. But one thing that I really wanted to show you, because I'm pretty excited to get one of these kits. You know, if you've listened to my show very long, that I really like weird stuff, which probably sounds kind of weird for me to say. But, you know, in the ship world, Montana's my favorite ship, and it never existed. So all this what if stuff, I'm just a big fan of that, right? And the Hanabu, if I'm even saying that right, flying saucer kit is one of the coolest concepts to me. Of course, some people might say it was real. Some people say it was not real, whatever. That doesn't matter. The concept and the idea of it to me is really neat. And that's why we reissued the Squadron Hanabu 2 kit. Well, I picked this up. This is from Wave Models out of Japan. And if you've ever seen, Revell did a Hanabu 2 kit. Well, this is the one that Revell boxed up. Now, the cool thing about Wave is they don't call it a Hanabu 2. They just call it a Hanabu type. And if you've ever seen the original drawings or plans or blueprints or whatever we're calling them of the different designs of these flying saucers that the Germans were supposedly going to make, they had a Hanabu 1, 2, and 3. Well, for Revell to have called this the Hanabu 2 didn't really make sense to me because it's pretty small. And when you compare it to the Squadron models Hanabu 2, which is rather large, it just is obviously not the same thing. But you look at the blueprints for a Hanabu 1, this is pretty spot on. So I think it's cool. If you've seen Tacom has a 3/50th scale Hanabu set that's got a 1, 2, and a 3 in it. And even their Hanabu 1 is very, very similar to what this Wave model looks like. But it's not very big. I mean, there's a quarter of it there, or a third of it there. But it's a neat kit. And the story goes that Revell released this kit, and I don't know. They're in Germany, I guess. You know, they're pretty well known. I don't know. But supposedly they released this kit, and on the side of the box, they put the history of it, but they wrote it in such a way that it was historical fact. Somebody got mad about that. I don't even know. It doesn't make sense to me because, like, tons of models are fictional. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Millennium Falcon flying through your backyard? Fictional models exist. I mean, we build fictional things. We like fictional things. But for whatever reason, they thought that it was necessary to pull the kit from the market and apologize that they, created something that wasn't real. I don't understand the story. I probably don't even have the story exactly right. Nonetheless, the kit's not available anymore except on the secondary market. So I was pretty excited to pick this up because I want to display this next to my Hanabu 2. And I guess the only thing to do now is to create a Hanabu 3, which would be pretty expensive to tool that up. It's rather large. But anyway, that was my cool thing I got at the show last couple weeks ago. Oh, man. Scotty's built a couple Comrade kits. They've got some good stuff. I've built several of their kits, and they're all hit and miss. And the only thing that I can kind of blame that on is as many kits as they've got, you got to figure they've got more than one guy that makes them, researches them, tools them up, masters them, whatever. Some of them come with photo etch, some of them don't come with photo etch. So I don't know. I guess it's just a hit and miss, kind of like a lot of companies that you hear. Trumpeter, for example, people will talk about their A team and their B team and their C team and all this. So the last Comrade kit, it was one of their little 700 scale battleships. It was great. Nothing wrong with it, but I've had some of them that were just like, you open it and I think I'm just going to close the box and work on it later. But you get that a lot with any big resin company, because the nature of a resin kit is that really each and every single one of them is ever so slightly different because the rubber molds move and they expand. So, but either way, they do have some very, very unique subjects that are just not available any other way. So if you've ever thought about trying one or wanted one, got some good deals on what's left right now. Scott, I've got a few of the camo caps left. Jump over to our website and just type in hat in the search and it'll come up. I think I got them listed for, I think, like $20 or something. But I got a few of the camo ones left, and I got like one or two of the black ones left. But well, guys, I guess we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Keep an eye on the moving sale page. Tomorrow, I'll probably load it up with a few things, and like I said, just keep adding some stuff in there for the next few days. And I don't know. I honestly have no idea what I'm going to put in there. I've got to look at that in the morning and just see. But it'll probably be big stuff. Probably put some 200 scale ships on sale. They're big. I don't want to move them. I would say I'm going to put some Doras on sale, but I'm out of stock right now. And the next shipment is going straight to the warehouse. So you're probably going to miss out on a good deal on a Dora. But sorry about that. But the good news is I do have them coming back in. I've had a few people asking them when they were going to come back. And every time we got some and they sell out, and then we get some more. But I got another shipment that'll be here, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks maybe. Tom says he calls his model room the danger room. Yeah, I need to name my model room. We've always had a place at our warehouse that we call Area 51, and it's probably kind of like your danger room. You just never know what's going on in there. So maybe I'll call my model room Area 51. We'll see. Well, guys, I appreciate it. I'm gonna get some sleep. Hope you will too. Let's build some models and we'll talk again soon. I appreciate you all being here. I really do. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday night. Hopefully I got some more exciting news to share with you. Y'all take it easy.